Lucy 语言家教
Welcome to Lucy Language Tutoring. I'm Scott, and this is Lucy. Real English. No textbooks, no classrooms. Today's lesson was produced in Taiwan's capital city of Taipei. Please listen to this recording while reading the lesson. Enjoy today's lesson. It's all coming right now from Lucy Language. As of October 2019, there are 189 subway systems around the world, and 32 more are under construction. Today, we'll take a look at 3 of these mass transit systems. Let's get to know them by comparing some facts and figures that they have in common. Things like speed, cost, size, and so on. Next, we'll get to know their personalities. Our first stop is New York City and the New York City subway, also called the MTA. In New York City, there's many things that are open 24 hours. They never close. The Times Square Starbucks never closes. There's many McDonald's that never close. And there's the New York City subway. It never closes. Its 25 lines and 472 stations are connected with 380.2 kilometers of track, and it's all open 24 hours a day, every day. Many lines have express and local trains. These lines have 3 or 4 tracks. The outer tracks near the station platforms are used for local trains, and the inner tracks are used for express trains. Some years, the subway loses money, and other years it earns money, like in 2018 when it made 4.5 billion NT dollars. With an annual ridership of 1,680,100,000, New York subway is sure to have a busy lost and found office. Every day, hundreds of items are lost, turned in, and eventually sit, waiting for their owners. At the subway's Lost and Found office, beneath the 34th Street station, the most commonly lost items are cell phones, subway fare tickets, wallets, and shopping bags. There's also plenty of lost employee ID tags, employee uniforms, and employee two-way radios, because many of the subway's 74,000 employees are also riders. Subway operators have a starting salary of 958.57 NT dollars per hour. Not bad. The system's first station, City Hall Station, still exists, but it's only used as a turnaround loop. When southbound number 6 red trains reach the end of the line, they need to turn around and go north again. Riders on the number 6 see the old City Hall station through the windows as the train slowly moves through the station's half-circle track. The London Underground is the world's oldest modern subway. Its 17 lines and 270 stations are connected with 402 kilometers of track. For the most part, the subway is open from 5 a.m. to midnight. The Tube had a good 2019 fiscal year with an after-tax profit of 17 billion, 105,881,428 NT dollars. With an annual ridership of 1,357,000,000, London subway is sure to have some interesting stories, like the Johnson typeface. In 1913, the London subway was looking for a way to strengthen its brand. They hired Edward Johnson to design a typeface that would be used throughout the entire system, including station signage, front office stationery, and advertisements. The Tube's deepest station is Hampstead, located about 58.5 meters below street level. The system's longest escalator is there too, 60 meters, helping riders up and down. Hampstead and other deep stations were built long before modern-day ventilation technology. These stations are often quite hot due to heat from the trains, equipment, and riders. Unlike Taipei's MRT, tube stations are not air-conditioned. New York and Boston stations are also AC-free. But wait, there's more. Some tube lines also lack air conditioning in the trains. During summer months, subway cars might be 30, 31, even 32 degrees Celsius. If that isn't enough to make you sweat, only half of the tube stations have toilets. Parts of New York City subway and Boston's and Chicago's are elevated above grade, like Taipei's Wenhu line, the Brown line. In New York and Boston, those elevated sections have over the years been replaced by underground tracks. Very few elevated sections in the highly populated downtown business and shopping areas remain. Chicago, with much more elevated track, is quite different. Chicago isn't moving their elevated tracks below ground. Instead, the Chicago L continues embracing its elevated track, 89% of the system. Chicago's L delivers 225,900,000 riders each year to their destinations using 8 lines and 140 stations connected by 165.4 kilometers of track. It's the third largest mass transportation system in the USA, based on ridership. On most days, riders can start using the L at 4:30 a.m., and it runs until 1:30 a.m. Even with all those riders, in 2018, the L lost 23 billion, 128,650,000 NT dollars. There's more elevated trains in Chicago than any other American city, and it's the only American city with elevated trains running through its downtown. The first L line was constructed in 1892. It was a steam train, and it was elevated. Elevated tracks were, and still are, less expensive to build and maintain than subway tunnels. The L is a little bit taller than the second floor of the buildings it passes. Either from a station platform or through a train window, L riders have an amazing view of Chicago that's only available on the L. When Chicago was a young city, the elevated transportation system was chosen rather than subway tunnels. The city was growing quickly. Too quickly. Patience is a virtue, but the city didn't have enough of it for subway tunneling. Building elevated tracks and stations was much faster. It was also faster to build uncomplicated stations. In other words, Chicago L stations have very few amenities, and that includes no toilets. Whether you're traveling domestically in Taiwan or internationally around the globe, if you're using the local subway systems, Lucy and I hope that today's lesson will encourage you to enjoy them as more than a way to get around town.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the lesson. To purchase a copy of today's lesson, including the audio recording, a PDF of the lesson, and answer key, send email to lucylanguage@icloud.com for more details.
Lucy 语言家教